How much does it cost to own a private jet? Owning a private jet is not for the weak or those without many millions of dollars in the bank. And not only can buying one be pricey, but it can be a difficult procedure. Private plane options include full ownership, part ownership, private jet cards, private jet rentals, and so forth. So how much does it cost to own a private jet? And is it the best option for you? Let's explore your options in this video. Hello guys, this is the Luxury Channel. Please like and share this video, and also subscribe to the channel for more fantastic content like this one. There are two ways in which you can own a private aircraft: whole ownership, in which you own the full plane, or fractional ownership, in which you own part of a plane. Let's start by looking at whole ownership. Different aircraft models have different ownership and purchase costs. Simply said, a bigger jet will cost more to buy and operate, and age and history will also have a significant impact on the initial cost of a plane. For instance, a brand new large heavy jet can cost over $70 million, or over $100 million if you want a custom-fitted Airbus or Boeing. In contrast, you can find 30-plus-year-old light jets for well under $1 million. There are some primary costs to take into account when it comes to whole ownership. These include the purchase price, financing costs, management, upkeep, storage, insurance, crew, fuel, and upgrades. These expenses may vary significantly based on usage, size, and preferences, just like the cost. Generally speaking, whole ownership costs between $700,000 and $4 million per year in upkeep and fees. Depending on age and condition, a pre-owned Gulfstream G450 can be had for as little as $13 million, while a brand new one might cost $40 million. Following the initial cost, there are anticipated yearly fixed expenses of around $880,000 and variable costs of $1.6 million. The Bombardier Challenger 605 may be less expensive in terms of initial cost. A brand new model will run you roughly $27 million, and used ones will go for about $15 million. But you are still looking at estimated yearly fixed costs of $725,000 and variable expenditures of $1.5 million. You can purchase an Embraer Phenom 300 for little under $9 million, with used ones going for $7 to $8 million. Still, there will be an extra $343,000 in fixed costs, bringing the total expected annual costs to almost $800,000. How do these expenses come to be so high? Here's how. First of all, a plane that costs this much for the privilege of ownership needs to be safety secured when not in use, so you will need to include the expense of storage in your annual operational budget, unless you already have an airplane hangar. For instance, storing a private airplane that cost $1 million would cost about $3,000 per month. Also, no matter how frequently or how far you use your jet, you will always need to run maintenance and repairs because everything eventually breaks, including private jets. However, the costs for maintenance and repairs vary based on where you acquired the jet, the size and features of your particular jet, as well as what exact breakdown you are dealing with. For instance, replacing a tire that blows out may run between $2,000 and $5,000 in cost. Airport clearance fees are yet another expense. Depending on the airport and the weight of the aircraft, there are different fees for landing and using the airport. The clearance fees, which can run into several $100s but are occasionally reduced if refueling, can also be increased for extended waits, overnight stays, de-icing, and so on. Crew members with exceptional skills are also needed to help you operate your private aircraft. That adds another expense, whether you fly the aircraft yourself or hire a pilot. The size of your private jet, how often you use it, and how many passengers it can carry all affect the size and expense of a flight crew. For a mid-sized jet inside the United States, an overnight flight crew can cost up to $750, and this cost can increase for a long-haul flight. As for a large aircraft, a full-time flight crew might set you back more than $200,000 a year. Then there is the cost of fuel. One of the largest costs associated with owning a private aircraft is jet fuel, which now costs between $3 and $6 per gallon, while sustainable aviation fuel commands an even higher price. Depending on the model, private planes can use between 50 and 626 gallons of fuel every hour. Don't forget that these numbers are based on an average fuel usage. Therefore, these numbers would be substantially higher if you looked at the burn during takeoff and ascending. So let's say your jet uses 350 gallons per hour. That would be about $1,000. As a result, if you fly 300 hours per year, you should prepare to spend more than $300,000 on jet fuel. However, there is an alternative that will shield you from all of these expenses, and that is the fractional ownership option. There are situations where outright ownership may not be for you, possibly due to cost or planned use. Fractional ownership might be a wise decision under these circumstances. According to what the name implies, you buy a part or stake of an aircraft and then pay a portion of the associated expenses, such as an hourly flight rate for usage and monthly or recurring fees to cover all the fixed costs of operating the aircraft. With this stake, you are given a set number of hours per year that you can use to fly the aircraft. The typical flying time is 50 to 400 hours, and the majority of fractional jet shares are multiples of 1/16. You'll probably have to sign a multi-year aircraft management agreement when you enroll in a jet sharing program. Additionally, you need to be aware that not every flight will be in the aircraft you actually own. In fact, there's a chance you might never enter it. Rather, the organization in charge of your fractional jet plan will typically have a fleet of similar planes available for use, bringing you the nearest one as needed. Moreover, you must pay an acquisition cost, often known as a capital fee, when you first buy a share in a jet. The size of your ownership stake in the jet and the type of aircraft you're buying will have a direct impact on the size of this payment. A share in a smaller plane, for instance, will typically be less expensive than a share in a larger one. A 1/4 stake in a larger business jet can cost in the millions of dollars, whereas a 1/16 stake in a smaller plane might only cost a few $100,000. Are these costs putting an end to your desire to fly in a private jet? Not to worry. Private jet travel is more affordable than you may imagine, thanks to services like private jet charter and businesses that offer seats on private aircraft. According to the private jet charter company, Air Charter Service, you can expect to pay between $1,300 and $3,000 per flying hour to charter a smaller jet plane, which typically seats 4 to 6 passengers. Between $4,000 and $8,000 per flying hour to charter a mid-sized jet, which typically seats up to 9 passengers. And $8,600 and $13,000 per flying hour to charter a larger private jet, which typically seats from 14 to 19 passengers. A 6-hour cross-country private jet charter flight will therefore cost between $7,800 and $18,000 on a smaller private jet, between $24,000 and $48,000 on a medium private jet, and between $51,600 and $78,000 on a big private jet. That's actually not that expensive, at least not when compared to the price of buying and maintaining an aircraft on your own. You can check out our video on the most expensive private jets in the world if you're in the mood for more private jets. We assure you, you would absolutely enjoy it. If you haven't done so already, kindly hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel. Bye for now.